Hope you're having a great day. Just finished my mile run and my workout. Just cooling down right now. But again, appreciate y'all for being out here, or being up here rather, being up here on this live. Thinking about so many things that's going on. Looking at stuff about the Diddy trial. Of course, he was not guilty of the RICO charges and stuff like that. You know, he wasn't charged for that, but he was charged for other counts. As far as, you know, the sex workers and stuff like that. I call them sex workers. SMEX, as the reporters say, SMEX workers. But yeah, you know, he's trying to get this bail as far as trying to get out of jail. You know, it's just, you know, through all this, you know, it's hard for me to fathom that he's not recognizing his flaws, you know. And I believe the thing that he apologized and stuff, it was hard to believe because he didn't really make it personal, you know. He didn't really make it personal to the victims, you know. I feel like it was just a publicity thing to make him look like he's remorseful for what he did. But you know, a lot of people do bad things in this world, but they don't expect it to come back to them, you know. I believe that whatever you put out in the world, you'll eventually get back sometime in your life, you know. You can't do bad or do wrong to people and I expect karma, no matter how big you are in life, you know. No matter how big you are in life, you cannot expect karma to come back to you if you do something heinous or harmful to people, you know. I feel that. How you doing, Grave Walker 666? But yeah, you know, you gotta expect karma to come back to you if you do, you know, treat people bad, you know. You gotta expect the karma to come back to you. You know, sometimes you gotta accept the karma because, you know, you never know how you affect other people's lives. You can cause trauma to people's lives because, you know, you may do something that may change the trajectory of somebody's life, you know. So, you know, you just gotta be careful how you treat people. You be careful the words that you say to people because you don't know how people are triggered, you know. I think there's a lot of traumatic things that might have happened in Diddy's life at an early age, but that doesn't give the excuse of what he has done in his celebrity life and dealing with his relationships, you know. And you know, I know it's going to be a hard pill to swallow, but you know, he has to accept his karma. You know, he has to accept that the things that he put out, the harmful things he's done to people over time, you know. Never know what someone's going through. Yeah, you never know the traumatic things that people go through. So you gotta choose wisely the words that you say out of your mouth, because you know the good Bible says life and death is in the power of your tongue, and so we have to we have to be careful, what we say out of our mouths because it may trigger people. You never know the karma that comes from what you say as well. You know, never know the trauma that you create out of your mouth. A lot of kids, and when they become adults, they think about the things that they've been taught or taught to in their life. A lot of things I've heard when I was young, spoken into my life, that has affected a lot of things when I got older. A lot of things that older people say to people may affect kids' confidence from an early age. So, if you have children, don't say that they're dumb or don't say that they're stupid, even if you're saying it in a comical way. You have to be careful what you say to them, because they may grow up and think they are slow, that they can't do anything. Sorry to hear about your friend, Pixo. Sorry to hear about your friend. But, you just got to be careful what you say out of your mouth. Because like I said, life and death, it's in the power of your tongue. The things that you say to people may affect people's life. By the way, 66 thing on it's not, it was an old gaming channel. Okay. Yeah, sorry for your loss, Pixo. I couldn't fathom losing a friend, a close friend. I haven't experienced that yet. But a lot of, part of life, you're gonna lose some, you're gonna lose some friends, you're gonna lose family members. That's a part of life. But sorry for your loss. I couldn't imagine losing a close friend. Said lost my mom. Sorry to hear that, Grave Walker. Prayers are with y'all. It's so many. It seems like 2025 has been a rough year for a lot of people. I know him since first grade, so it's very hard for me and my grandpa. Yeah, I couldn't imagine losing my friend. I've known a friend since first grade. It'd be hard to fathom that. It'd be hard to fathom losing a friend. But yeah, praying for y'all. But yeah, 2025 has been a very rough year for a lot of people, as far as deaths and stuff like that. But pray 2026 is a better year. We lost Malcolm Jamal Warner, we lost Hulk Hogan, we lost Ozzy Osbourne, so many others, has passed away this year. Unfortunate ordeal. But yeah, say I hated 2023. Jamal Warner thing tore me up because he seemed, even though I never met him personally, he seemed like a awesome guy, awesome spirit. Seemed like a very down-to-earth celebrity. Malcolm Jamal Warner. Grew up with watching the Cosby Show. He was in a lot of people's households on TV. And so, very, very shocking news when I heard that Malcolm Jamal Warner had passed away, who played Theo on the Cosby Show. Played so many roles. I used to watch Malcolm and Eddie. That was a great show as well. And so, yeah, we're going back to my topic about karma. Just treat everybody good. Don't treat people like the golden rule. I think a lot of people always forget the golden rule is to treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, the things you put out, the things you put out, put out in the atmosphere comes back to you. You know, they made a lot of stuff. They made a restaurant. Only robots work. I heard about the Tesla restaurant, but I don't think it's all robot. But yeah, they're making a lot of new things, a lot of new innovations as far as AI and robot technology. I used to work on a job where I used a robot. It was like we made pipes and stuff for tractors and trucks, and we used a robot. And I heard, eventually they might create AI schools. I've heard people who graduated from school using AI. They graduated from high school. They had AI teachers, and so that was crazy. That was crazy. There's a lot of new, insightful technology really coming out these days. Like I said, AI teachers, replacing teachers with AI, And I feel like they should give teachers raises. I feel like teachers should deserve raises. I think a lot of things. The only thing I'm kind of upset with is AI music. Me being a music creator myself, I don't really like the AI music thing. If it's used as an assistant, it's okay. But just don't really care for that, that type of thing. Making robots would be fun, but them making it, taking out, yeah. You couldn't pay me to go to school nowadays. People are insane. Yeah. Yeah, these students are different these days in the school system. We appreciate y'all for being in here. Hope you're having a great day. Appreciate y'all. Please subscribe as well to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Hope you're having a great day. Hope y'all staying motivated. I'll talk to y'all guys later. All right, peace.